Standing in the wake of this train wreck, my heart is beating faster in my chest. This depression terrifies me. When I'm awake, it's like these thoughts, they paralyze me. I don't wanna feel like this. I don't wanna feel like this. Time stops, weightless and cold. Silence burns like fire while my fears unfold. There's panic. Tooth to my cheek, too hard to speak without you. Lungs drained of air, life feels unfair without you. Come back to me, don't leave me to dream about you, dream about you, dream about you. How can I breathe without you? How can I breathe without you? Without you. What is left to say when the sky falls? I'm staring at your ghost in the stars. There's not a day that I don't miss you. The feeling swelling overflow, it's like I see you, hear you. I don't wanna feel like this. Why do I still feel like this? Heart ripped out of my brain. I sit here talking to myself. I think I'm going insane. Tooth to my cheek, too hard to speak without you. Lungs drained of air, life feels unfair without you. Come back to me, don't leave me to dream about you, dream about you, dream about you. How can I breathe without you? How can I breathe without you? The only way to fix this, the only way to fix this pain inside, the only way to fix this is a deep breath in as you say
I kick ass for the Lord.
What about me?
I never loved him the way that I love you. Just drops the mic.
Fit me with his butt.
Can't see it from here.
What about the panty?
What about the panty? What's up, Butters? What's up, Briefers?
Ooh, I like
You like that one? Is that one gonna stick?
that. I think that's
I think
pretty
that
good.
was a good one. Hello and welcome to 52/1993, the live movie conversation podcast where we discuss movies from the year 1993. I am your host, Cody, and I'm joined by my co-host this week, Spencer. Welcome back, Spencer.
Good to be here.
Good to be here, always. If this is your first time joining us, welcome in. We are so happy for you to join us today. Just to give you a little bit of heads up about what we're doing, basically, for 52 weeks, we've watched one movie a week from the year 1993 because it's been 30 years. Important movies that have been released this year by their weekend releases. It doesn't matter if they're good or they're bad or if they're somewhere in the middle where a lot of these kind of live. And then usually I have a guest host to talk about the movie, go through just like different categories and stuff, and just kind of get their general feeling about the movie. And if they're new, we'll talk to them about their interests with movies and see kind of where they sit and what they like and everything. But Spencer's old hat, he's been here from day one, down since he's an OG back in the day. So we're glad to have him here talking about, I think you said this is one of your mom's favorite movies.
It is. It might be the favorite
Real, I am so interested in that.
movie.
Why?
I
But we're
think
talking about.
we can get into it. I think I might know why.
Okay. I mean, I think I know why. Anyway, we're talking about the Pelican Brief today, and it is kind of at the year, like John Grisham was so big in the early 1990s. We've already done one film of his this year with The Firm. And did you do that one with me?
I was trying to remember that
Or
too.
did I do that with Joseph? I feel like that might have been a Joseph one.
I mean, obviously I watched it, but I can't remember if I did it or not.
This is
But
kind of the
then
year.
you had actually on Letterboxd, you had mentioned The Firm in your review, and that had gotten me to go back and read because I've got a terrible memory. So I go and I read the synopsis, and sorry about the penis cam, but it reminded me of that. I just thought that was a good comparison with the Firm and this movie, and I don't know. It reminded me that I should go rewatch The Firm because it's good premise.
Yeah, so we get a rash of these. I should have written these down, but The Firm, we've got The Rainmaker, Pelican Brief, The Client. Gosh, I know I'm missing a bunch here, but courtroom dramas were all the rage in the 90s. And on paper, I say this movie should be amazing because
we'll get into it. I think I liked it better than you did.
I think you did too, and I didn't hate this movie by any means. But yeah, on paper. So let's kind of go into that and talk about on paper why this movie should be like.
Also, I want to give my synopsis after you give the official one. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely do that. Anyway, the movie's titled The Pelican Brief. It came out December 17th, 1993, right before Christmas. It was directed by Alan J. Pakula, who is famous for doing movies like Clute, Sophie's Choice, All the President's Men, which is kind of in the same vein of movie here with the investigative reporter and politics and president and all that stuff. It was also written by Alan J. Pakula, but it was based on the novel by John Grisham, as we have already discussed. And listen to this cast. I mean, this cast is insane. Julia Roberts as Darby Shaw, Denzel Washington as Gray Grantham, Sam Shepard as Thomas Callahan, John Hurd as Gavin Verheek, Tony Goldwyn as Fletcher Cole, did I say that? And Stanley Tucci as Kamel. We also have some other roles here. William Atherton's in this movie. Robert Culp. Hume Cronin is in this movie for about 5 minutes. John Lithgow is in this movie very briefly. Cynthia Nixon and Jake Weber are all some of the people that when I was going through, I was like, oh yeah, that guy's from this thing and that guy's from this thing. So John Hurd's kind of in there too. He's the dad from Home Alone. So
now we get to find out how he afforded the Home Alone house. This is how.
Tao, and he was killed. But
Yeah, well,
oh well, yeah. Um, so okay, I actually no, I'll go ahead and give the synopsis, and then I want you to give your synopsis. So Google says this is a taut thriller about a young law student whose legal brief about the assassination of two Supreme Court justices causes her to be targeted by killers. She realizes just how accurate her accusations have been when her lover and mentor is murdered. Forced to go on the run in New Orleans, she is aided by a journalist who helps her unravel a conspiracy involving senior government officials or figures. All right, I'm ready for you.
solid, solid. Well, first of all, I was just sad that there was no actual pelicans holding briefcases in this film because that's what I had always imagined when I heard the title. But hey, it's a different type of film. So I've got law student sleeps with professor, discovers a conspiracy that kills everyone around her, including two Supreme Court justices. But with the help of an intuitive reporter, they reveal the truth and unveil the conspiracy to the public. She later discovers her love for journalism and becomes Erin Brockovich.
Ooh.
I think
I
it's
wish
canon.
yeah, that's canon.
Hmm.
I wish I had Aaron Brockovich so I wish I had this movie to play on the TV behind me, but I don't. I was gonna play The Firm, but then I was like, no, that's too on the nose. So
Legit question: do you think this would have to be split up into two VHSs?
no.
No, it's
No,
not that long.
The Firm is longer than this movie, and it's
Oh,
only a
is it
month.
really? It didn't
Mhm.
feel like it. Okay.
Yeah. But I decided to put Fletch on behind me.
Oh, that's a good one though.
Investigative reporter movie. It's pretty
Yeah.
good, right?
Dang, that would be honestly. That's a really good like double feature option.
Mm-hmm. I saw something recently that I was like, this is very comparable to Fletch. Love Fletch. And I assume you do too,
Oh
right?
yeah, Fletch and Fletch Lives. I haven't seen the. They did a remake, right?
Yes, it's really good, starring John Hamm. That
Mm-hmm.
that is a very good movie.
I'm glad to hear it was good.
Maybe I'm a liar, and
Yeah,
I think
it
I'm a
wouldn't be
liar.
surprising. Yeah. Okay.
I am a liar. Anyway, this movie was made for $45 million and it made $195.3 million at the box office. So pretty successful. It has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 54%, IMDb at 6.6 out of 10, and Letterboxd has a 3.2 out of 5.
It's harsh.
Let me tell you what Roger Ebert said, because he gave it 3 out of 4 stars, but he says that it contains no substance or meaning is not its problem. It is a clever device to take your mind off your problems for 141 minutes. I enjoyed it until it was over. I will have little reason to think about it in the weeks to come. I will forget it in a year.
Dude,
He gave it 3 out of 4 stars though.
oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever agreed with, because usually he and I don't always agree with his reviews. This one might be spot on because I'll tell you after you read that negative, I'll tell you what.
Okay. Here's the negative one from Mark Savlov of the Austin Chronicle. Grisham's novel was no landmark of literary originality to begin with, but Pakula streamlines the story into a corner and then lets it run 30 minutes longer than necessary.
I mean, I
So,
can't disagree with that
yeah.
either. But no, so like I really liked this film, and part of me felt like I had to like it to avoid disappointing my mother. But I'll be honest, I wrote this down. I didn't know Ebert said that, but it's not the most memorable film with like super impactful scenes or quotes. It's just kind of overall good, but
Mhm.
but like he said, it's not something that I'm gonna like sit here and remember. It's not quotable. I'm not gonna think about particular scenes a whole bunch. I will probably forget it. But it's good. I don't know. It's a weird way to describe that, but it's kind of the perfect way he described it. It's just like I won't remember this in a year.
Yeah. There is something like, again, you just said like kind of nailed it. There's not a lot of quotes, the quotable lines in this movie. The only thing that I remember and about this movie, and I watched it pretty intently. Like I focused a lot on this. Sometimes I'm not focusing and I'm like
Yeah,
on my
I get that.
phone and
Usually
um
I'm not.
and maybe it had to do with the way that I did watch it, because I don't know how you streamed it, but I streamed it on Pluto
Yeah.
TV, which had a commercial, every like 15 minutes kind of thing in it. And I don't know if that like really affected the way I was watching it because of I really got bothered by some of the transitions in this movie. Like all of a sudden she's wearing a wig, and then like where did that wig come from? Where did
Yeah,
little
I do
things like
wonder.
that?
I think you're right. I think those weird commercial breaks, and I swear that on some of mine, and it may have been the fact that I had to pause it and go back and stuff, but I
Yeah.
swear it kind of chopped like a few seconds off here and there, and I was like, that's weird, but I'm not going to let it affect me, I guess.
Yeah, I felt that same way too. And
But also made it longer, obviously.
yes, it made it so much longer. There are some memorable shots in this movie that hopefully we'll talk about, that I will take away. There is one shot in particular where I was like, this movie has no business having that good of a shot in this, like this very memorable scene in this movie. Again, did not hate this movie at all. I enjoyed it for what it was, but yeah, there were a couple scenes where I was like, what is that doing in here?
And Little Rock, Arkansas got a shout out. So
Just like in The Firm.
Yeah. Oh,
I think
no. What?
the Grisham loves the South.
Hey, he loves Little Rock apparently in particular.
Yeah. Because in The Firm, that's where Tom Cruise's character goes to get a private investigator, and then the private investigator gets
so
shot. Gary
random.
Busey, yeah. So I think I like The Firm a little bit better, but we can talk about this. There is no legacy or awards with this film, even despite it having a very star-studded cast and 2 Oscar winners and maybe 3 Oscar winners. I think Sam Shepard might have been nominated for. He's a writer. He's really known for his writing. Stanley Tucci's also in this. I think he's been nominated. Hume Cronin's won an award. Julia Roberts, Denzel, Time Out.
I just thought of something, and it may be the dumbest thing anyone's ever said. But does the Robin Williams film Jumanji reference this movie subtly? I just remembered. I talked about pelicans holding a brief. Well, there's at one point, you know how the game is kind of a briefcase, and a pelican runs off with it.
Oh yeah, I doubt that is the reference that they're trying to make.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I mean, that's pretty clever, though.
If it was,
there we go.
Got it.
She's so good at research. I get where you get your research from. Like
exactly,
she's so good at research. So for all those that are just listening, she is Erin Brockovich. Painted Houses is based in Arkansas by John Grisham, and then also it says John Grisham was born in Jonesboro, Arkansas. That's what Wikipedia says. So I love some research. Thank you from the chat. So maybe that's why he likes the South. Yeah, and I wonder if that's why I appreciated The Firm a little. Although this takes place in New Orleans, and I wanted so much more like New Orleans stuff in here.
Really? See, I thought they did a really good job of like they could have never said the name New Orleans, and I would have known where they were.
Yeah. Is Hard Target a better New Orleans movie than this movie?
God, Hard Target is fucking trash, dude.
Dude, he grabs that snake.
I hated that movie.
He punches that snake. That's my favorite scene, I think, of the year.
But that's another one where I watched it on a weird medium, so maybe I need to go back and do that.
Well, I want you to rewatch every movie just to see.
Yeah, I've got time for that.
We all do. Okay, let's go ahead and break into our scenes a little bit. That'll probably jolt this conversation. Not that it's been bad or anything, but
I don't have a bunch, so it might.
Well, let's go. Let's just start with you because I'm sure we have very similar scenes as we often do.
I've got 2, and they both involve cars. One of them was Callahan blowing up in the car.
Okay, I had the assassinations first.
Yeah, well, wasn't my favorite, man. Those were not my favorite. Yeah.
Why? I mean, no assassination's my favorite, but I really enjoyed the porn theater.
Hated that one.
Mostly because there were people in the theater with them.
Yeah, these assassinations had some major problems.
Yeah. So, but I wanted to bring attention to him. So, two Supreme Court justices get murdered. One of them gets just shot from in his home, I
Well,
believe.
was it one shot that got both of him and his like caretaker, or was it two shots?
Two shots. Two shots.
Okay.
Yeah, his caretaker got taken care of after. But the porn theater, one of them gets killed in a porn theater with what was
The
it that he
thickest,
pulled?
the thickest rope I've ever
Oh
seen
yeah, it
somebody
was
get
a
strangled
very
with.
thick rope. It wasn't like piano wire or anything like that, like inconspicuous. No, it is straight up rope. And Stanley Tucci just kills these men. And the thing about the movie theater one bugs me a little bit, or bugs me a lot, because there are people in that theater. And yeah,
Oh, they're right
everybody's probably
behind him.
right behind him. It's like 5 rows back. And he just, I mean, is everybody just jerking it too much to
You
pay
you
attention to somebody getting
you do get blinded by the jerk.
when Stanley Tucci comes out with that popcorn bucket in his lap, and I'm like,
Yes,
oh, he's doing the trick. He's doing that
that's what I
trick,
thought too. Yeah,
You cut the hole in the bottom of it,
like,
and
he's got butter all over his dick.
yeah, butter dick.
Yeah,
What's up, Butters?
everything looks good, butter dick.
So yeah, we get butter dick assassination. You're welcome. Everybody, oh god, that one's going in. That's a clip. That's a clip. So we get the butter dick assassination. So that kind of propels our story from the start. We already met one of these guys, and it was kind of a throwaway scene with the Supreme Court justice with Denzel. Oh, like, why is Denzel talking to this guy? What, like?
And for the longest time, I couldn't figure out what Denzel did. Like, I didn't know he was a reporter because I was like, but I just saw him with the Supreme Court justice. So is he his aide, or what is happening here?
Yeah, that was a weird relationship that I still can't really understand or make sense of,
Yeah.
other than to just introduce Denzel Washington at that time as opposed to like 40 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was a little weird for me. But okay, go to the car bomb. Talking about the first car bomb.
Oh yeah. So like when his car wouldn't start, and he was like hella drunk. I was like, oh, that's the world telling him, maybe you shouldn't drive drunk. And then the world told him something else, and he blew up. But Julia Roberts got lucky and escaped because she said she was walking, she didn't want to ride with him. So there was that. But I mean, that man's like dying words were just him having a good old time.
Yeah. And the reason he gets killed is because Julia Roberts just hears about these two Supreme Court justices getting assassinated. And she's like, let me do a little bit of research.
Yeah.
You said one of them was your friend. So let me just go into this. And
I mean, it kind of resonates with today because everybody thinks they can solve every mystery
it's
with the
true.
internet.
It goes into like Reddit
Yeah.
investigations and stuff. Yeah.
So basically, everybody's like, "Oh, I bet they missed something that that I could look at." And, like JFK, everybody still revisiting that. And oh, I bet they didn't see this. Like,
Yeah. I just wonder. I wish we had a lawyer, so I could ask or bounce questions off of, because I want to know, just because this law student wrote a brief about what she thinks might have went down, why is this such a big deal?
that is weird because wouldn't that just get dismissed as like a student research paper?
Yeah,
And that's
that
it?
is the easiest thing, just to be like, no, this doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we need to go along the lines to kill somebody, but
Well, there is that line in here about once you kill one person, you can't stop, unless that was a different movie that I've watched between then.
I don't remember.
It's
This
certainly
movie had
something.
zero memorable lines, so
Yeah. Well, I'm in the middle of the Hurt Locker right now, so it may be from that.
Oh, okay. No, I just thought it is weird to me that just a law student from Tulane would write this brief, and then her lover / mentor / or whatever, teacher or whatever, was just like, yeah, this is pretty good. I'm going to send this to my guy at the FBI.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, here we go.
All right. When she put it in the hands of Verheek and he turned it over to those, they knew it was spot on. That's why.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, that's
yeah. Okay. She's gonna defend this with her
I
life.
know. Again did not hate the movie. You need it to obviously propel the story forward and have her just running for her life for the rest of the film. So I like that one. The car bomb scene. Okay, you said the next you only had 2 written down.
Yeah, they were both car related.
So yeah, they're car related. You're talking about the garage scene.
Of course.
The next scene I have has to do with Verheek or whatever his name is, John Hurd's character. Darby is supposed to meet up with him, and he gets assassinated by Stanley Tucci.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've got that in a different section of this, but yeah.
And then we get the New Orleans harbor scene.
If there was one memorable scene, that's it.
That is it. That is my favorite scene in this entire movie, I think.
Was that the shot you were talking about as well?
Yes. I think that is like so disturbing and cool, but
that was beautiful.
Yeah, like Stanley Tucci's character disguises himself as this guy that she's supposed to meet because he overheard the conversation and was waiting in the closet for this dude, and he ends up she finds him, doesn't even ask him any questions or anything, like test him to see if his accent is good or if it's the same voice.
Rain in Spain falls mainly on something.
She should have had something there, but she grabs his hand and she's going to take him on this boat. And this guy is also like he packed like a pillow to make him seem bigger.
Yeah, because
the guy said he was like 180 pounds, right?
Yeah. But I mean, it's not like she's got a scale.
I know, but he looked ridiculous because he's so tiny and like wearing these baggy clothes. I was like, it was offensive to fat guys like me.
I really thought that he was going to get caught based on height because I don't think I ever saw him put like lifts in his shoes or anything. I was like, oh, he's going to be like, oh, he's too short.
Nobody knows how tall people are until they stand next to like a tall person. And then they're like, all right, that guy, he's huge. But I hated that he just like wrapped a bunch of like sheets or whatever around him, or it's a pillow or something like that.
That was pretty ridiculous.
But
so like what they did, you talk about his accent, and he did like try to sound like him, so that made me think, oh, he's definitely going to talk, right? Like, and then I wanted to hear how good of an impression it was, but no, I didn't.
And we see during that scene that he pulls the gun out again in a huge crowd of people. He pulls the gun out and then puts it under his shirt, and he's going to shoot Julia Roberts' character right then and there. And this is my only problem. I know, like, I didn't have as much. I read a bunch of stuff on the internet where people were like confused about who shot this guy.
Oh, well, they say it later.
Yeah, they do say it later, and you see the guy briefly.
Oh, did you?
Just kind of, you do for like a second. You just see this guy's face, and you know that he's been like hovering around the whole thing, and he shoots that guy to protect Julia Roberts because because the CIA is investigating.
Oh, yeah, you did kind of. See, even without seeing that guy's face, like you could have alluded to it because there was one scene where they were all like in a hotel room or something talking about covering them. So you could have alluded to that.
Yeah, it didn't bug me. Like, again, I read this on the internet. People were, up in arms about it, but I got it, and I think I would have alluded to somebody else's work. It gave it that extra air of mystery. We're already not sure what exactly is in the brief at this point. They just keep saying brief over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, and I actually, as much as that frustrated me at first, because it's like, why the fuck is this called the Pelican Brief? There ain't no pelicans. And like, I was like, what's happening? But I actually enjoyed that they delayed kind of telling the story about Matisse until later on.
Yeah, it did frustrate me at first because I was like, what is going on? But yeah, I like that we just had this who we thought was going to be the main like antagonist of this movie, Stanley Tucci's hitman character, just get destroyed in public. And then we get that scene, and I like this scene, and this is probably what I'm talking, it's like aerial shot of the crowd dispersing from that area. Stanley Tucci's body is on the ground. There's blood all around him, and it just focuses on, like, it's just on that shot for the, like, I don't know, it's probably a good like 10 seconds, 15
It's a
seconds.
zoom out too, right?
Yeah, it's a zoom out. They zoom out of it. But yeah, super interesting. And I was like, why is that shot in the movie? That's a good shot. That was really good.
I'm pretty sure I have seen this movie before, just because there's that scene, the scene when she visits Denzel in the cabin, and then like maybe and the car garage scene, that feels so familiar, and it's either some other movies have either played on that as like a tribute or just like relied on it to kind of help their story, or I've seen this before, and I think I've seen this before because that Stanley Tucci getting killed scene, like that thing seems
It sticks
so
out.
familiar, and I
Yeah.
don't think any other movies recreated it as well as they have.
This is my first watch. I had never seen this movie before. So
Well, and like I said, it's one of my mom's favorites, so she was probably watching it, and I was just around.
you soaked it up. You were 5 years old watching this movie, watching Stanley Tucci get his head blown off.
Exactly. I mean, on a tube TV, it just hits different.
It just hits different. No, I think that New Orleans scene, or that harbor scene, and then there's a scene where Denzel, this isn't like an important scene by any means, but Denzel meets up with John Lithgow's character at Mount Vernon in Virginia. That one stuck out to me too, because
Wait,
I've been to
what
Mount
did
Vernon.
you need him for?
He was just meeting him to tell him, like, hey, I've still got this source, and like I'm still on the case and everything. You see like a bunch of people in the background. It is kind of a throwaway scene.
That's
Honestly.
okay. I think I know exactly. Was that the one where he's like, "Why did you invite me here? You could have just called me and told me."
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I didn't know that they were at Mount Vernon. I
Mount
guess
Vernon, yeah.
slipped my
You'll
mind.
see, like, if you look in the background, you'll see like the actors, or like the 1700s actors or whatever in the background. And I recognize it too, because on my senior trip in high school, we went to Mount Vernon. So
Oh, okay.
not just Mount Vernon, we went to DC.
For some reason, it reminded me of the scene where there was ridiculous things going on in the background of this other movie that we watched. What was it?
Carlito's Way.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I wish it was the
Same time.
same. I wish it was that same party.
Some girl giving him a hand job in the background.
Stop giving her a hand job.
I need to rewatch that.
That's a
Not
good one.
to derail the conversation, but Carlito's Way was so good.
Carlito's Way was good. That was a surprising one to me. All right. Tell me your other. The car scene was my next one. I combined it with the bank scene, because her going in to get the lockbox or get into the safety deposit, that was kind of like the tense moment.
I almost wrote that. I don't know why. I liked it. I didn't even have a reason. I liked it that they had two keys and they both turned it, and she was like, "Let me get this shit," and then like I don't know, it's good.
And that's where we get the videotape that reveals everything about this.
Yeah.
And why pelicans are involved.
Yep. How convenient.
Also, okay, let me ask this question. There was a PBS documentary on Frontline that explained all of this. It was out there, like, it's public.
That was so odd. I thought that too. I was like, wait.
Nope.
I was like, what are they watching? PBS?
Yeah. Oh, that's the best line. I think I forget who it is that says it. I think it's the main like associate to the president. He's like, fucking PBS.
Well, and there was another scene like we had talked about, the lockbox scene, just I don't know, just having a good vibe to it. I had the same feeling, and I guess maybe it was the bombshell they dropped too. I had the same feeling about the scene where they went to the partner's office and they were asking for the lawyer who was, Garcia or whatever. And then they tell him that he died. I don't know why. That scene seemed just like good vibes.
I really like the bank scene too, because I like how competent Julia Roberts is. And when they're asking you the questions like, What's your
Oh,
name? What's your address? What's your birthday? And she's just bam, bam, bam. Like
I thought
she
the same thing. I
knew.
was like, I would have been like,
And like she did it so naturally too. Like it didn't come off rehearsed. She did
yeah.
it like she was this guy's actual wife. So
Well, and I mean, this is to me, this movie in general is just peak Julia Roberts. Like,
yeah.
she's just so there was a run where she had, and she was just fantastic. And I think, and like I mentioned earlier, you asked, you wonder why my mom loves this movie so much. I think it's that. I think she, because there's other Julia Roberts movies that she just absolutely loves, and she just kills it. From a span of like 10 years, she's it.
And I think this is her first move. Like, I think she took a little break
Oh,
to
really?
come back to do this movie. So,
Like from what?
somebody
Was this
said,
one?
yeah, I think she had like 2, maybe a year or something like that, but that's not necessarily true. I'm seeing, uh, I think
What?
the Hook was her last before this. I think she had a part in the play, like a cameo in The Player, which we talked about earlier this year. Or not, we didn't talk about The Player. But Hook, the Robin Williams movie, I think that was her last one, and like she took like a year and a half break
Was
before she
Pretty
did The
Woman
Pelican Brief.
before or after?
Yeah, so Pretty Woman comes out in 1990, and
Okay.
that is like,
I
all
thought
right,
that was kind of her
she is,
launch.
yeah, she's it at that point. She goes on to do Flatliners, which is okay. Sleeping with the Enemy.
Sleeping with the Enemy, yes, that's
Yeah.
another good option for a double feature too.
Yeah. Um, Hook, which was kind of a flop at the time. And then she comes back to do The Pelican Brief and kills it because this movie's like does really well at the box office.
I didn't realize Brockovich was so much later.
Yeah, it's like 2000 or something, right?
That's what I
Yeah.
saw earlier. I thought it was like right around this time, but it wasn't.
Well, she also she does a couple weird things from this point on. She kind of tries to do like a rom-com in 1994 with
Oh,
Nick Nolte, which is bizarre,
I
called
thought
I
you were
Love
going to
Trouble.
mention Runaway Bride. I was going to say, don't you
No,
dare.
no, no. But like she doesn't have like a real big hit for the next like 3 years or 4 years until she comes back to My Best Friend's Wedding. And then from My Best Friend's Wedding on, that's kind of when she hits her like a real good stride.
And then she
Conspiracy
goes, what?
Theory,
Ocean's
Stepmom,
11.
Notting Hill, Runaway Bride, Aaron Brockovich. Like she just kind of nails it there for a while.
Yeah, I saw where she's actually going to be in something big on Netflix this year or next year. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's kind of moved over to like TV stuff too. Like she did that Homecoming show on Prime, and then she
oh,
just recently did
The
like a
Crown.
movie. She's doing The Crown.
On Netflix, I think they're doing like some American version of The Crown or some shit. I don't know.
Interesting.
Some Queen stuff. I don't know.
Some Queen stuff. She's doing some movie with Mahershala Ali called Leave the World Behind. That's a Netflix movie that's coming out soon, I think, in like 5 days. So
Oh, wow, okay.
relevant.
Go check it out.
I don't know what that movie's about at all. But Mahershala is in it. I love Mahershala and Ethan Hawke's in it. She did that movie with George Clooney last year called Ticket to Paradise too, which was
Yeah, when was Ocean's 11? That was early 2000.
I think it's 01, 02, something like
Okay.
that.
It was
01,
somewhere
yeah.
in there.
So, no, she's a national treasure. We love
Of
we
course.
love we stand for Julia in this movie.
Oh. Breaking out the lingo. I was
I'm
about
bringing
to
out I
point
gotta
to my
bring it up.
arm, but I'm holding my phone.
Anyway, so we have that bank scene that leads into the garage scene where a car bomb has been planted on their car, and
Who's
they're
the
about
random lady chasing them?
no idea. She just pops up. That's my problem with this movie is like these just randos come in and they start chasing them and they're like, who is this person? But anyway,
Yeah.
the car bomb gets set on their car.
Oh, we'll
And
talk about this scene later. But go ahead.
and Denzel starts to start the car and she's like, get out, because it wasn't starting right away.
Yeah.
And then they run out of it, realizing that there's a bomb on it, and then a car chase ensues, or like they're hiding from this lady that just randomly shows up. I think she was a hit person for the big ass attorney in at the end that got busted. This movie just needs to tighten things up. That's all I'm saying. I just want it tight.
It is a little bit vague. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to tighten it up on some of these characters and some of these little plots. That's all. It would be great. It would be perfect. This car scene is not in the movie or in the book. In the book,
I was
sorry.
gonna say I saw it with my own eyes, Cody.
Yeah, they had to add some action scene because they were like, this was kind of boring, so let's give it a little action. So they added this in there, and they're just running through a parking garage, and then they somehow get this guy to run into the car that he had just planted a car bomb on, thus making it explode and killing him.
Classic.
Sounds like he wishes the movie was longer. What a great joke. You're hilarious.
What?
I love chat. Chat's great.
He'll be here all night.
Anything else you want to say about this scene? That's kind of it for me. The ones that I said like really stood out.
Well, it's just part of it is on my most ridiculous moment, but we'll get
okay. Yeah. So again, this movie ends with them exposing that, I guess, the Washington whatever journal he works for. Because I guess they probably didn't want to say the Washington Post.
I was wondering.
Yeah, I thought that too. But anyway, they expose him, and a lot of I don't even know if you get any of the consequences, but it all ultimately points to this guy Matisse, who is the big bad guy that we never see throughout the entire movie. He's only referenced. You see him in a picture, I think. And I don't even know if it's like a good picture, but yeah, this unknown villain is the guy that put this all together.
I feel like that fits though. Like, a billionaire that always, buys himself out of trouble. A lot of times you don't see them. Like, they're not a main part of the stuff. They're behind the scenes throwing money or whatever they need to make it go away. So I kind of like that.
It kind of gives me weird vibes just thinking about all the billionaires that we have now, like the popular ones or anything, what they're throwing their money at.
Well, you think about that, but then you think about like the ones that aren't in the limelight still behind the scenes doing that. That's kind of like this.
I don't know why, but I just thought about this. You recently watched this too. The Killer on Netflix.
Yeah.
Has to deal with something like similar.
I was thinking of the same thing. The scene where he was in his penthouse.
Yeah, and he finally meets up with the guy that's kind of orchestrated the hitman to be taken care of himself. Is just some billionaire guy that's throwing money at something to make something else go away, make somebody go away. So very, very similar. So maybe this is like a shot at like the Elons or the early. This is early Elon stuff, or this is early Bezos, more like the early George Soros.
Yeah, that's
the name that gets thrown out probably.
Or like the early Warren Buffett.
Yeah,
like, ones that aren't always in the news.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It gets exposed, and then Darby gets put on a plane to some undisclosed. I also didn't feel like it was clear that she was put into witness protection.
I think I understood it enough.
I mean, I understood it, but like
later on, I want to talk about this scene though.
Okay.
Because there was a direction I thought they were going to go, but they didn't necessarily. I guess it would be a stretch to interpret it this way, but we'll talk about it.
Okay.
All right, I do have a question for you though.
Yes, give it to me.
What are your thoughts on John Lithgow's character? Do you think his character could be cut altogether, or did you like it?
No, he could be cut altogether.
Okay, I kind of thought the same thing.
I don't think it was like this movie never felt to me like a true journalism movie.
Yeah,
and if it was a true journalism movie, I would have loved to have seen more Lithgow. But I never felt like this wanted to be that movie. It never wanted to be All the President's Men or Spotlight or She Said or any of those journalism.
We have probably said almost all of the double features that I have written down.
I think I've said them all.
All the President's Men and Spotlight are on there.
Nice. I have one extra movie on mine that
I was gonna say I'm sure I have, because on that one I always write down everything. But yeah.
All right. Who's your favorite character in this movie?
So actually maybe more of a scene stealer, because I don't know that it was necessarily my favorite character. Go ahead and read that because
Yeah,
that's what
maybe
it's
if
all about.
Lithgow's character had been much more like Fletch's boss. I agree with that. I like that. I like that. Yeah.
But my favorite character, yeah, like I said, is more of a scene stealer because he's not in this much. But I just think he's so good at playing a bad guy in everything that he does, and that is Tony Goldwyn as Fletcher Cole. I don't know
Oh
how
yeah. Go,
I don't know how he does it. He's just always so
he's
good at
so
it.
like slimy.
Every time I see his face, I'm like, I know he's bad. Like I don't even like. You just know he's gonna just wreck this
And
movie.
he's like most famous for Scandal, right? Did you ever
I
watch
watched a little
Scandal?
bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I never watched Scandal. I just know him from that. He's like the president, I think, that Olivia Pope or whatever her name is. He has
I
resting asshole face. That's a great yes.
Well, and that's the thing about what's the series called again? Scandal? Yeah, that's
Scandal,
the thing
yeah.
about that show. I just can't keep my eyes off Olivia Pope, so I don't know who else is in it.
Yeah. So Tony Gold, I know him best though, and we've mentioned this movie in the last like 3 weeks. Ghost. He's the bad guy in Ghost.
Yes, that's the one. I think that's me too. That's the one that I recognize him most from.
Yeah, and I don't
He's
know
so
what it is
good.
about that movie. But one, it scarred me as a child because of the like ghosts, like the demons scenes in there. I had nightmares about ghosts for a long time.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm
But
trying
yeah,
to
that
see
guy
what
has
else.
the face. He's like a handsome dude, but he just looks like such a dick, and you know he's not going to be a good guy in a movie.
Like
Ever.
you look at him and you know he beats his wife. It's so
Yeah,
weird.
yes. I mean, it is that.
I'm trying to look and see if there's anything else, but I think you're right. I think you're spot on. It's 100% Ghost. Like that is exactly what I was thinking too.
It's Ghost.
God, he's good.
What a jerk.
But I
No,
also gave a small shout out to I don't even know if he has any speaking parts in this, but also very good at playing a bad guy is Anthony Heald. His face, I
is
just
that the
something.
guy that puts the car bombs?
Maybe his name is Marty Velmano in this. Just look him up; you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
I tried to put in Anthony Heald and it tried to put in Buddy Heald.
Well, Heald. I might be saying it wrong.
No. Okay, I know this guy. He's I probably
Accepted.
remember him best from Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, too. Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Chilton. No, I thought you were talking about the guy that puts the bombs on the cars, because that guy's got a face that I'm like, you're a bad dude. You're a bad dude. My favorite characters, I really liked Gray Grantham.
Yeah, I liked
And
the character. Yeah,
and Stanley Tucci's character Kamel. I thought he was very
almost with
creepy.
him too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, I loved Gray Grantham.
dude,
I want another Gray Grantham movie.
I would take a spinoff with
Yeah.
just Gray as a
Can,
journalism movie.
can we talk about that real quick? How I love these names of these characters.
Dude,
Gray Grantham
Grantham, dope
and
ass
Darby
name.
Shaw.
Fletcher Cole,
Fletcher Cole. Those are good names.
dude. Yeah, spot on with the like kick-ass names. These are great.
Thomas
Oh,
Callahan's a little lame.
Well, we didn't even get into Edwin Sneller.
We did not get into Edwin Sneller. You're right. No, there's a lot of good names in this movie. I really did appreciate it for its character names. So good on John Grisham for coming up with some good names.
John Lithgow's name, Smith Keen. I don't know. These names just hit, man.
Denton Voyle.
God, he's so good at names.
Bob Gaminsky.
If I have another kid, I'm going to Grisham and I'm saying, name this.
Your
Name it
next
right
kid's
now.
name, Edwin Sneller.
Edwin, no. Well, not that one.
You don't like Edwin Sneller?
It's the Sneller.
Denton Voyle.
Damn.
Darby Shaw. Darby such
Shaw
a good
was-
name.
yeah.
Good name for a woman. I love that.
Well, I've got a friend named Darby, and I wonder if she was named after this.
Oh, okay. Somebody didn't. That is one of like the fun facts that I looked up.
Paul
That I
Rudd's
saw.
daughter.
Paul Rudd's daughter is named after Darby Shaw.
Yeah.
Weird. So weird.
That
Anyway,
is a good name, though.
have a daughter and name her Darby.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay. We'll move on then. All right.
Good
Favorite
segue
quote.
into nothing.
What quotes do you have written down?
I've got two,
I had two as well.
and because we talked about this not being a real quotable movie. Um, the first one is from a scene that probably should have been scrapped altogether, but whatever. It's when she goes to the mental hospital to visit Edward Lenny, and he said, "You know, when you came in, I thought I was hallucinating again." And she says, "I'm sorry." And he says, "Oh no, I'll take a hallucination like that anytime." I was like, I feel you.
Yeah.
And then the
What a
second,
useless what a
I
useless
know
scene in this movie.
that scene was, yeah. I thought this, yeah. I was like, this is so out of place. And then the next one was some guy named Edwin Newton is talking to Greg Grantham and says she sounds almost too good to be true, and he says she almost is. And this is where I thought that scene was taking a different direction. So you
Mhm.
talked about her not being
Real?
explicitly in witness protection.
Mhm.
And I thought that so I started wondering in the scene, I was like, is it going to be revealed that like she wasn't real at all and somehow it was just like a figment of
Yeah.
gray imagination? And I thought that was going to be super interesting. They didn't go that direction,
They did
but
not go that direction.
I thought, like that could be an interesting premise though.
Yeah. I like okay, I have one that's other than, fucking PBS. Gray is talking to Darby and he says, "Do you want to talk about the brief?" And she says, "Everyone I've told about the brief is dead." And he says, "I take my chances." I like that. I think he was this is part of the reason I really liked Gray in this movie. Like he was bold, he didn't care. He was just like, I know what I'm doing kind of
I
thing.
feel like honestly, he captured like because I've obviously worked in journalism. I feel like he captured kind of a journalist's like a good journalist spirit. I thought Denzel did a really good job. Well, I mean the character too, I guess, did a really good job of like capturing a journalist spirit because that's just
Yeah.
kind of how they are. Like they take chances, they take risks to get the story, and he just did a really good job at that.
From chat, Thomas Callahan saying, "Darby Shaw, you take my breath away,"
That's what
and
it
then
was.
dies.
Mm. And her
I
emotion in that scene was really good too.
Speaking of the throwaway scene in the mental hospital or whatever, he's like distracting, or he's getting ready to talk to the head guy, and the guy comes around the corner. He's like, "Great architecture." It's such a
That sounds
random
like some
dumb
dumb
line.
shit I would say.
Great architecture. This is good
How
for
about that
some mental.
drive-in?
And she just goes up there. I love that. And then uh no, it's good. That's it. You got the other quote I had here. So
Oh,
uh
okay.
yeah, she's almost too good to be true. Biggest laugh, cry, scare, or thrill?
I guess I would say the one I have is the biggest thrill, and we've talked about it. It was Tucci's death. I honestly can say I did not see that coming.
I did
It,
not either.
it was a good, quick surprise, and then of course that beautiful shot just made it 10 times better.
Yeah. And I put anytime, like, it was kind of scary anytime that Stanley Tucci was on screen. I was kind of like, he was really good.
Yeah, I don't think I gave him enough credit. He was super, and he had barely any screen time. But you're
Mm-mm.
right. Every time he was on there, you were like, that dude's bad business.
Yeah. Another bad, like not a great movie, but great Stanley Tucci villain is The Lovely Bones.
I haven't seen it.
He plays a child predator in that movie, and it's rough, but he is so good at it. It's terrifying.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit
Terrifying.
that. I'm gonna hit that chat about the jumpity out music. It was
Yeah.
good, and it kind of reminds me because in the same vein, that same, it gave me the same feeling as Sleeping with the Enemy. That music did,
Hmm. I wonder if
which
it's
was
the same. Is it Howard Shore? I can't
I was
remember. Or
wondering.
James Horner? I can't remember who it is, but
I was hoping you'd look that up for me.
I will look that up as we go to our most what the fuck ridiculous moment. So
I have three. Uh, I guess that speaks to this being a bit of a ridiculous movie. But so first of all, there's that scrawny dude chasing her in the French Quarter, and suddenly he has Hulk strength and is able to push every single person out of the way that comes and tries to stop him from chasing Darby Shaw. And I thought that was ridiculous.
I I love when they're going through the kitchen and she pushes that cart in front. That was pretty great. I love that.
And then there's also we talked about the parking garage scene. Him like keeping trying to start the car and her being like, "Wait, in this brief it says, or in these documents it says this." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And he pulls his hand back from the key, and then he tries to start again, and she goes, "But wait." And it's like 5 times that she does that. I'm like, okay, this is insane. And then of course I have the rope strangle because that rope is way too big. We all know you would use the piano wire. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
What about you?
I basically mine were all those like again, I'm not sure if it was because of the way I was watching it, but it's like the cuts, the transitions, anything like that. That I like all of a sudden they're there with no explanation or anything like that. I had the why are we at the hospital scene? Like we learn a
Yeah.
guy's name. That's it. From a picture. I'm pretty sure there would have better ways to get that. Um the wigs. If I'm running for my life, the hair is getting cut off. I don't care how pretty it is. Yeah.
Does she wear wigs?
Does she there Vigs? The car chase, this was my biggest one. Is when he hits the car. Like obviously I
Yeah.
know for dramatic effect and everything, and you need the blow up scene, and we just need more bombs in this movie, but come on.
Michael Bay.
That guy's not taking that curve like that in no way. No way. Best music moment. I have one. I didn't go with the score, so I'm gonna let you talk about.
Well, this is where I was saying that I agreed with Chat. It was kind of the overall suspense music, but not only like was it good suspenseful music, but I felt like, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I have been wrong in my life before, but I thought that it captured the New Orleans spirit. Just, I mean, I thought it was super subtle, like jazz and like I don't even know how to like maybe xylophone. I don't know what it was. It just felt like it captured New Orleans just so
Zydeco?
subtly enough.
Zydeco music. It's a
I don't.
genre that's
I,
like specific to that area. So it's
is
like,
it?
yeah, it's like a Cajun music.
Oh, I thought you were fucking with me.
No,
Okay, well,
no.
yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. You get a little bit of this in and unnecessarily in The Firm. The Firm
You
has,
do, yes. I remember
and that's
talking about that.
Memphis. Like it should be more bluesy. But you do get, I feel like you do get a little bit of like this style of music in here. So, um, but
Good
no,
call out to that on the firm because I remember. I feel like we talked about like that being super unnecessary. It was like, what is this music? Like, it doesn't fit.
yeah. I put there were a couple songs in here, but I did want to give credit where credit's due to Aretha
I
for her
figured.
Chain of Fools. That was the song I wanted to pull out. That she's running through the French Quarter and everything. Doesn't necessarily fit, but
You can never go wrong with Aretha.
you can never go. Yeah, you can never go wrong with it. But James Horner is the man who did the score for this movie. He's
Who
kind of
who did it for Sleeping with the Enemy?
I saw Jerry Goldsmith, I think is what I looked up. And
That name sounds. I think we watched the film earlier this year that had him. If I'm
really?
not mistaken.
Yeah, James Horner probably most famous for doing the score for Titanic. Oh, and
Oh,
Braveheart. He's a, yeah,
shit. He's
pretty
good.
popular guy when it comes to scores. So
Okay.
that's what I would say. Um, anything else you want to talk about the music?
No, I'm just curious as to if we, in fact, did listen to Mr. James Goldsmith earlier. I could have swore we did, but
Jerry Goldsmith.
Jerry, James, you know.
Jerry. All right. So, I mean, how do we feel about Darby? What's your thoughts on Darby?
She's hot. I mean,
Is she a babe? She's a babe,
she's,
right?
she's hot. Come on, Julia Roberts is a babe. We know this.
But
Julia Roberts.
Darby herself,
I know, but I mean, you can't take the Roberts out of the shawl.
you can't take the Roberts out of the Shaw. It's the dumbest thing. Okay. Now I'm gonna bring an F Mary kill for you.
I don't know where this is going.
Well, it's just men. Okay, I did
Oh,
men.
you know, you all, we're gonna have to have a talk.
There were no women in this movie.
Darby,
Okay,
the lady at the bank,
the hitman. Yeah,
the hit lady.
there was not like as important movie.
I know.
Mostly, I wanted to do this just to get these two for Darby's sake. Is Gray Grantham, Thomas Callahan, and then I threw in Justice Rosenberg just for the heck of it.
Why am I not seeing Justice Rosenberg?
That's
Wait,
the
is this the
old
really
man.
old one? Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
the one that looks like he's already dead before actually being killed.
I'm. Oh, yeah.
And this one's fun. Let me
This
have
one is
fun.
a little fun.
Mostly, I wanted to see this. It's like, and the reason I bring this up, and we might have hit on it in our fun facts, but in the novel, Darby and Gray become lovers.
I was wondering that because it felt like they could have took it that way. I honestly, personally, like that they did not.
See, and I think I wish that they did.
Yeah, I think that's. I feel like it was too obvious. Like
Right.
I feel like if anybody writing a movie would do shit like that. Like I thought this made it a little bit more unique. That it
No.
wasn't like a romance story too.
Yeah, no, I wanted the romance. I wanted Julia Roberts and Denzel Washington to freaking do it, you know?
Maybe
Hey,
Denzel and
we just survived a car bomb. Let's freaking bang it out, bro.
Stalker he banged Cynthia Nixon.
No, I don't want to bang Cynthia Nixon.
Okay.
So, if you're Darby, who are you choosing here?
Okay. Oh yeah, actually I also read that about Denzel in the chat. If you'll go ahead and read that.
Denzel once said he didn't want to do the romance. Actually, he doesn't do love scenes out of respect for his wife.
He doesn't ever.
That man needs to have sex in a
Sorry,
movie.
sorry about you.
I mean, I get it, but it's
You're
a
thirsty.
job. It's a job.
Well, here's what I think. I think I'm going ahead and doing the dirty with Gray, and I'm killing Thomas Callahan. Never
And
liked him.
right. And then you're marrying the judge because he's
That's
probably got a lot of
easy,
money. And
easy
he's going to
call.
die soon enough.
You
That's the
dead?
only correct answer of this game. He's getting enough at home, apparently. I mean, yeah, I get it. I
Yeah.
don't, but you're
Now I'm
robbing
gonna
the,
look up his wife. Hold on.
but you're robbing the world of some, like Denzel. Let's agree. Let's all put aside our feelings. Denzel is a beautiful man. 1993 Denzel is a very handsome man.
I was gonna say he's getting a little old now. So
He's a very handsome man. And like I respect him that he doesn't want to do all that stuff, but like I just think that we missed out on some
he looks happy with his wife. I
I
like
mean,
that guy even more. Okay. Okay. Keep it in your pants, chat.
keep it in your pants, chat. Denzel is it. Yeah, see? That's honestly when you said that this was your mom's favorite movie, I
I
was like,
know,
it's a Denzel thing.
dude. She does love Denzel, and in fact, I've got another Denzel in the double feature that is one of her favorites too. That she'll definitely be all about.
Preacher's
But yeah,
Wife?
no, don't guess. You've already guessed all of them.
I know, I'm sorry. But no, that's the right answer. Okay, who gave the best performance?
I think that's obviously Julia. I like Denzel, and I always do. But I thought this was a Julia Roberts movie.
See, I went the opposite.
Really?
Yeah. I went Denzel. I think Denzel killed it. I loved I love him as a journalist. I thought it really worked.
Okay. Fair enough.
Not that Julia did a bad job. I just think that I just like Denzel best.
Okay. Fine. I do
All
have a
right.
Denzel connection.
What's your Denzel connection?
Let me find the name of the movie because I kind of forgot.
That's your father.
Oh, there it is. A Soldier Story. My uncle was actually in that for a brief period, and all he did was walk up to Denzel's character, salute him, and then walk off. But apparently, Offset he and Denzel really hit it off, talking about like old cars and stuff. And he said Denzel's a super nice guy. So
Yeah. That's not the first time I've heard that about Denzel. Like, I've seen people mess it on, I don't know if it's like chats or message boards or something like that, but people always say, like, one thing about Denzel is when he is doing a movie, it's a job. And that's
yeah,
how he treats it. But he also treats everybody on set like they're
down
equals to him.
yeah, down to like the people cleaning up and
Yeah.
yeah,
So I've
yeah.
always
Well,
heard that.
that's good to hear because you often hear the opposite about a lot of people that you look up to.
hmm And Denzel's always one of those guys too that you never see in the tabloids or anything like that.
Mhm.
He is a family man. He's boring, so
I
he's
was gonna
not
say, yeah, he gives just
a he leaves
generic
his work at the
answers.
door, man.
Yep.
This is a 9 to 5 for him. This is not anything else. It's like
No,
Jokic.
I'd love to hang out with him.
That'd be cool. I love Denzel. I have grown to appreciate Denzel so much more over the last like 10 years.
Yeah,
He did a lot of movies that I'm just like, all right, man. Like, he did a
like
lot
what?
of like basically just copies of Man on Fire, you know? I felt like I
Yeah,
was seeing the same movie over and over and over again. I was
I
like,
could
oh,
see
come
that.
on. Okay. Your uncle was at the premiere of A Soldier Story and called him by name to tell him he bought a 67 Mustang convertible like this and like his and wanted tips on refurbishing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Very
So
cool.
Denzel called him out and said he ended up buying a 69 or a 67 Mustang convertible just like his. That's cool. I
That is
mean,
cool.
I probably heard that, but you know, my memory is
It's
what it is.
okay. Denzel called your uncle by name. That's pretty cool. I'll take it. All right. Let's recast this movie.
Not gonna.
You're not gonna at all? Not even
Well, I'm not going to for 1993.
Okay, I'll go ahead with 1993. Just
Well, I do have one if I had to though.
okay, who are you gonna recast?
And it's not even a main character. The only reason is because for some reason I get I get these two actors confused a little bit sometimes. But as Fletcher Cole, I said it could be Peter Green from The Mask.
Oh, yeah, he does kind of look like him a little bit.
I thought it was the same guy for a bit.
Yeah, you're right. That's okay. Okay, I recast Darby and I recast Gray. Not
Half
because I
of them.
think they need to. Lawrence Fishburne, he's out during this time.
Yeah,
I
I
love
take it.
Lawrence
I
Fishburne.
take it. I do love him, but it,
Clooney, I think Clooney could have done a good job.
I don't think as good as Lawrence. But yeah,
Yeah. Um, Julia Roberts is a hard one to
yeah.
recast. And the only people I could think of, I wrote down Diane Lane and Robin Wright, who both kind of give me the same energy. They're not as like plucky or like happy.
Well, we talked about The Client earlier. I thought you might say Susan Sarandon.
Susan Sarandon. Trying like Holly Hunter too during this
Mhm.
time. But again, like I don't know, they're just not giving me
With I
Julia
mean,
Roberts has something different about
yeah,
her.
with her scope of work, like and everything she's done, it's just it fits her so well. And I think they said even it was written for her, so
Yes,
like
it was written for her.
it makes sense.
Yeah. Like I don't know what it is about Julia Roberts, but I had a little bit of fun when I did the 2023 recasting with it because I was like, who are the young stars
That
that
one
I
was better.
could
Yeah.
that I could that might be able to do this? I don't think we
Who,
have one
who did you
um
come up with?
for 2023. I've cast all these people in movies that we've talked about before. I have 7 girls listed for Julia Roberts' character.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh my.
yeah.
Okay, let's hear them.
Emma Mackey, who's in that show Sex Education on there. She kind of is a lookalike like
Yeah.
um
What is her?
Barbie and
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah. I thought
Kind of a look
maybe
like they look exactly like.
yeah, they look a lot alike. What else did I have? Haley Lou Richardson, which I'm obsessed with. I kind of love Haley Lou Richardson. She was in White Lotus season 2. She was
Oh,
in
yep. Okay. She
Support the
was the assistant.
Girls. Yeah, she has that like smile that I think of with like a Julia Roberts.
She
Uh,
has a very like not law necessarily, but student. Like I could see her being a
Yes,
student,
yeah.
like easy.
Who else did I have here? Margaret Qualley, who I think is probably a little bit too not dark for the role. Like it again, kind of what I was saying about Diane Lane and Robin Wright. Like they're a little too sad or a little too, maybe I don't know. Kiernan Shipka is another person I wrote down. She's from Mad Men or Sabrina. Sandra Bullock, I thought about for 93. She would be a good, like, I think if somebody's going to give Julia Roberts a run for her money with this, it would probably be Sandra Bullock. Just be like, they kind of have that same vibe. That's a
She's just listing her favorite actresses.
that's fine. It's not a bad one. Yara Shahidi from Blackish or Grownish.
Okay, yeah.
Giving me that vibe. And then Catherine Newton, who's in the movie Blocker. She was in the new Ant-Man movie. Again, it's kind of the smile thing. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they have the acting chops for it, but that's what I went with.
Okay.
Who'd
What about
you have?
Gray?
Oh,
What
for
about-
Gray?
Yeah.
Gray's the easiest one I cast.
Oh,
John David Washington. Too easy. Next
I don't know
question.
who that is. Let me
That's-
look.
I need you to look it up right now
What
and
was
tell
he
me.
in? Oh, wait, is that Denzel's son?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. That is
It's
easy.
too easy.
I'm
Just
pissed.
put him
I
in
didn't
it.
know he. Damn it. Now I'm mad. I was really stoked on mine.
Okay, maybe yours is good. Is it? Who is it?
So I had. Let me delete this because that's dumb. I had for great. Let me start with Darby Shaw. I had and I had Janelle Monáe thinking like Glass Onion type.
Yeah. Okay. I was hoping you would say Glass Onion because I was like, yeah, I get that vibe there. That's a good
Because
one.
I think that's the perfect vibe. I thought that was a good comparison as far as vibes go. And then for Greg Grantham, I was actually kind of proud too. I think Sterling K. Brown.
I love Sterling K. Brown. I want him to be in anything. But every time something like this comes up, I'm always like John David Washington, Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's his fucking son. Like, come on.
I know. No, I have a problem. I have a love-hate with Michael B. Jordan too. There are some movies where I'm like, I love you so much. And then there are others where I'm like, no, you're not doing it for me.
Yeah.
He plays a lawyer in Just Mercy. If nobody's ever seen that movie, it's a good one.
That was on my list for a while. I never did see it.
Good story, really good. Good Jamie Foxx.
Ooh, I do like him. Okay, I might have to check that out.
And it's based on a true story. So I don't love Michael B. Jordan in that movie. He comes off a little cheesy.
Yeah, like you said, like I agree. He's kind of hit or miss.
Yeah. He's good in 2 Creed movies, not 4.
I've only seen one. So.
I cast Thomas Callahan too because I wanted somebody in there.
Okay, good because I casted Verheek.
Oh, good. I cast Jamie Lannister, or the guy that plays Jamie Lannister, as him. I was like, he looks like him, right?
Why you be doing this? You're so good at that one.
Nicolaj Coster-Waldau or
Yeah,
Waldau.
couldn't told you his name, but yeah.
I think he's Dutch or something. He's weird.
And for Verheek, I picked Edward Norton because some of the lines, the way they were delivered, kind of sounded Norton-esque, and I was like, yeah, I got to.
No, I love that. That's a good one. That's a good. Did you cast anybody else?
No, just those.
All right, let's move on to fun facts. Did you know? What'd you write down? Do you have anything? You had 2?
Yeah, and I'm sure you have them too because they're straight from the IMDb. But the fun facts were really in chat this time. Let's be honest.
Yeah, good job, chat. You guys really brought it.
So they used the same set in the White House scene as Dave.
Yeah, I love Dave. Your mom loves Dave.
No, this movie was better than Dave.
Wrong.
And then also, I think, I don't know, this was way more impressive to me than any other fact, and that was the fact that it was filmed in sequence, which
not a lot of movies do that.
Yeah, it's kind of unheard of.
But I kind of like that.
Props to them. That's got to be tough.
See, look at that. Chat supporting me. Dave is awesome.
It sucks.
You people that need to go back and watch Dave. It did not get the love that it should have when we did it the first time, and it was the only one that I've done solo, and it really makes me.
Yeah, now I kind of feel bad for shitting on it. Well,
So, other than those two things, again, I already said that in the novel, Darby and Gray, who are both white, this is important, become lovers.
wait, how do you know that? It says that in there?
hmm Become lovers, but not in the adaptation. Contrary to popular belief, this wasn't a studio decision. Julia Roberts was actually interested in bringing the romance to the screen, admitting to a desire to kiss Denzel Washington because he's a babe. But Washington disagreed, feeling that that audiences would not want to see an interracial romance.
Ugh, well, the audience is wrong.
Right.
We do want to see it.
We needed it in 93. We needed it.
True.
Paul Rudd named his daughter after Julia Roberts' character Darby. The two main stars don't appear on screen together until 1 hour and 8 minutes into the movie.
Oh, damn, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Victor Matisse, the main villain, only appears in a photograph. It's the only time we see him. So thought those were pretty good. Pretty good.
Oh, another fun fact is this movie's too long. But
Oh, yes. So if we wanted to say, if you can't, you like this movie a lot, what you already said something bad about it. Is there anything else that you would improve about this?
yeah, I said some of the visual effects or maybe lack thereof, especially with like assassinations and stuff like that.
The blood looked terrible in this movie.
Yeah, it didn't look good. I was gonna say it showed the movie's age, but we've
Mhm.
watched movies earlier in this year that have done a much better job. So
Yeah.
I don't know. And then of course, like I said, I feel it's a bit long and some parts could probably be cut.
I didn't do a body count. Oh
Well, we know there's
no.
2 Supreme Court justices. There's Voorhees. So that's 3, 4 with Tucci, 5 with the guy who drove and hit the bomb, 6 with the professor. It's got to be somewhere between 6 and 8,
Wow, I can't believe I missed it.
right?
I'm trying to find it out.
Let's see if I'm right. Do the Pelicans count?
Do the Pelicans count? I don't know how many died.
Well, it didn't say. Well, Callahan, I got him. Yeah,
Wow. I don't know. I'm lacking. Callahan. Is
counted 6.
that it?
Because you got
6?
Supreme Court justices. You've got Tucci, Callahan, Verheek, and the person that drove into the car bomb.
Okay.
And then I can't think of any more.
Do we count the guy that died? The one on the videotape, the VHS? Did you count him?
I didn't. Oh, 7.
7. Yeah, dude on the VHS, definitely.
Okay. So I think we've got our answer.
There we go. 7 is the body count for this movie.
Yeah, we didn't do that on the spot for sure.
No, definitely not. Yeah, I think I think it's too long. Absolutely. There are some unnecessary scenes in this movie. I love the chemistry between Denzel and Julia Roberts. Like it made me wish that we had more of that, like them in movies together. That would be,
Dude, I Googled how many movies they've been in together because I was like, this feels like they've been in a lot together, and they haven't.
is it just this?
I couldn't find anything, so
Yeah,
maybe.
I think it is only this. Which is sad. I'm sad by that.
Yeah,
I think
there should be a lot more with them too.
yeah. And then the other thing that I had kind of already mentioned earlier is like, I don't know, like I feel like there were plot holes or things missing. And again, it might have to do with how I watched the movie with the commercials and all that stuff, but it felt rushed in some spots in a movie that definitely wasn't rushed.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, later this month it is coming to Max. So if we want to have an opportunity to kind of watch it in full without the commercials, it
Never
might
watched
help.
the movie again.
But yeah,
All right, now's your time to shine. Like a fine wine and dish. If you could pair this movie with another movie for a double feature, what are you going to choose?
so we've talked about Aaron Brockovich, we've talked about The Client, we've talked about Sleeping with the Enemy, basically anything in this time frame with Julia Roberts. Talked about All the President's Men, talked about Spotlight. There's 2 that I've got. One of them is definitely recency bias, and that's Navalny, because
Ooh.
I think the storylines are similar. One is obviously fiction and one's real life. I think it's just because one of them is a fictitious depiction of the corruption in politics. The other is a documentary, and then the last one I have is another Denzel, and that would be The Bone Collector.
Ooh, that's what they used to call me in high school. Uh,
Ew. Again, we need to have a talk.
Trust me, we're good. We're good. Chat said Double Jeopardy, starring Tommy Lee Jones and Ashley Judd, and then Just Cause with Sean Connery, Lawrence Fishburne, and Blair Underwood.
I'm
I've
not
never
sure I've
seen
ever
Just
seen
Cause.
Just Cause.
I
Well,
think I've seen it on TV and I've skipped over it. I've seen scenes from it. The only one that All the President's Men, I think we need to go ahead and mention again. I
Yeah.
had Aaron Brockovich on mine as well. The only one that I had different from this is Michael Clayton.
I have been
And
looking high and low for that movie.
Michael Clayton is a really, really good movie starring George Clooney. And it has this kind of thriller element to it, to something that seems so boring and so I don't know, like the Pelican Brief to me sounds so boring, like the
I've been-
actual brief
Oh yeah,
with the the pelicans dying and all that. Yeah, like it seems so dumb, but that's kind of what Michael Clayton does, and it makes it so interesting. And you get action with this. You get the hitmen killing lawyers and all this other, like it's
who
really
wrote that book?
Which one? Michael Clayton?
Hmm
I have no idea. I didn't even know
I
it was a
didn't know if
book.
it was the same.
But Michael Clayton's also regarded as one of like the most perfect scripts ever written. It kind of goes up there with Chinatown. I don't think it is. I
Is
don't
it
think
not a
it's
book?
based on a book. I think it
I
was
could have
written. It's
swore it was. Okay.
No, it's written by Tony Gilroy, who has had a kind of a big. He did like the Born
Oh
trilogies.
damn. Okay.
He wrote those, but he's had a big year with that. He wrote parts of that Rogue One Star Wars movie, and then he did that new Star Wars show Andor. So he's kind of having a resurgence. But yeah, Tony Gilroy did that. So Michael Clayton, go see it.
I need to.
And Navalny, what a good pull. I'm glad that you watched that.
Yeah, the timing could not have been more perfect.
Yeah, great documentary on HBO or Max, whatever you want to watch it on. But definitely check that out and realize how crazy our politics are, world politics are. It's really interesting.
It's also in my recommendations here later. But
Cool,
yeah.
cool. All right, rewatchability rating. If you had to rate it out of 5, what would you do?
I would have rated it a little bit higher, but the length I think plays a factor. So I gave it a 3. I
Yeah.
think it's still rewatchable. It's tough because that's a lot of time to dedicate to rewatching something.
Yeah, I think if I saw it on like TNT or something, I might sit down and watch it.
Mhm.
I gave it a 2. I'm not like
Yeah.
going out of my way to watch this. Like I think I said in my review that I like The Firm better than this.
Yeah,
And
I went back and looked at my rating on The Firm, and like I said, I need to rewatch that because I feel like they're close.
yeah, I felt like it was a little bit. I mean, Tom Cruise runs for like the last 45 minutes of that movie, and
That's true. I think
just
that was my big gripe.
I just love Tom Cruise running.
No, too much.
Too much. All right, overall star rating.
I gave it a 4. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. It's classic Julia Roberts. Love Denzel. The villains are great.
If they're not in this movie, though, I would have went way lower.
Well, you could have said that about like a lot of movies in the casting, though.
I think they bring it up that much for me, though.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I gave it a 3.
Okay. I can't complain.
Middle of the road for me.
Yeah.
Not my favorite. I love Dave more.
No,
Okay.
well, you're wrong.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of 52/1993 for the Pelican Brief. I'm glad that everybody had some fun and participated in chat. Thank you so much. I'm glad that we were able to do this and get as much participation as we have. I love it. Spencer, I always end the show with recommendations from you. So I'm more than interested to hear your recommendations.
Well, the first one I can't shut up about, and I'm gonna continue to not shut up about, and that is a movie that is currently on Tubi. It's called Butt Boy, and like I
Ridiculous.
said, I can't quit talking about it. In fact, let me read the synopsis to you guys. I know I've already read it to Cody, but yeah, listen, it's a ridiculous movie, but it's a good one. Detective Fox loves work and alcohol. After going to AA, his sponsor Chip becomes the main suspect in his investigation of a missing kid. Fox also starts to believe that people are disappearing up Chip's butt. It's way better than it should be. Go watch it. And then also recently I watched Adam Sandler's Leo. Really liked it. And Cody actually, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but Cody made me a list of movies because I asked him to, because I needed some movies on my list, and he crushed it. So yeah, pretty much anything from that list, which includes Don't Worry, Darling, Four Lions, Hell or High Water, and Good Time, all terrific. And then one last one that it's been on my list for a really long time, and I never did watch it. Finally did, and it's great. Is Black Klansman.
Okay, very good. Love Black Klansman. Speaking of John David Washington,
You that?
yeah, he's the main guy.
Yeah. Well, sometimes your memory sucks, but I did not know that was him.
My teacher friend said Leo was a very accurate description of
Dude,
what it's like to be a teacher.
especially the kindergartners. You
I
should
haven't seen
watch
this
it.
movie.
It's got Adam Sandler and Bill Burr as classroom pets.
Nice.
It's good.
I love that. I love that a lot. Well, I wish I had something to add to any of this, but
You watched a dud.
I've watched a bunch of duds lately.
What happened?
I don't know. I've just got on like a teen kick, like watching teen movies from the early 2000s or late 90s. Watch some duds, man.
I
But
watched a dud last night, so I get it.
but I will say I watched a Christmas movie that I had not watched, called Violent Night.
I've only seen half of that.
And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun, and it kind of surprised me how good it actually was. So, if you like your Santa to be like John Wick a little bit and kick some ass, I highly recommend Violent Night. It's really, really surprising how good it was.
Have you seen 8-Bit Christmas?
I have seen 8-Bit Christmas.
I rewatched that recently. I like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then I would recommend not watching the one I watched last night, though, and that was the Naughty Nine.
The Naughty Nine?
Got the same kid actor.
Did your wife know you watched that?
No, that was never mind. But it's got the same kid actor that played Neil Patrick Harris's character in 8-Bit Christmas. So I had high hopes, but it wasn't great. So.
All right. Well, again, thank you everybody for that, and thank you for all your recommendations. I'm going to do the raid thing again, and raid some of my friends. I don't have anybody that does podcasts like this, but I do have some good people to follow or go over there and watch their stuff. They're usually playing like Sea of Thieves or Fortnite or something like that. But for all you video gamers out there, check out these people. I'm going to raid my friend Shumba. And we'll see you next week, where we'll be talking about Philadelphia. It's streaming on VOD. It might be streaming somewhere else by the time you watch it, but check out Philadelphia, and we'll see you next week. Bye.